Hello, crafty friends, and welcome back to my channel. We all need some healing hugs from time to time. My card project today is a very clean and simple white on white card, sending healing hugs to all you lovely people who need that extra love. Before we take a look at the card project, I would really appreciate if you could take a minute to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to get notified every time I post a new video. I wanted to keep this card project very clean and simple with minimal supplies and well, minimum color. I decided to use an embossing folder which not only had a beautiful textured pattern but also had enough space for me to stamp my sentiment because I didn't want to add any extra sentiment labels or any kind of extra sentiment strips. So here I am using the Fresh Daisies 3D embossing folder by Simons Stamp, which I thought was absolutely perfect for the card that I was planning to create today. I took a white sheet of A2 size cardstock and applied a slight mist of water on the sheet of cardstock before placing it in the embossing folder and running it through the die cutting machine. The mist of water will loosen the fiber in the paper so that the paper does not crack while it passes through the die cutting machine. If you're using a lighter weight cardstock, you can avoid this step, but I would definitely suggest using a spray bottle on your cardstock if you're using anything heavier than a 100-pound cardstock. Well, take a look at that beautiful floral pattern that has been embossed on this piece of paper. I have a video where I used the same exact embossing folder and created something really beautiful and colorful. I will leave a link to that video down in the description box below. For my sentiment, I used the Greeting Mix stamp set, again by Simons Stamp. This has a variety of different sentiments in beautiful fonts. I chose a sentiment that says Healing Hugs. I not only thought that the font on the sentiment is really beautiful and simple, but also the sentiment matches perfectly with the theme of our project today. You could also use this design to create thinking of you cards, sympathy cards, or even thank you cards. To stamp my sentiment, I use the Simons Stamp Positively Saturated ink in the shade EARL, which is a very beautiful medium gray tone. Well, it does look like I have stamped the sentiment using a black ink, but once the ink dries up and settles down onto the paper, it definitely gives out that beautiful gray vibe, which matches perfectly with the white daisies. Now, this is why I love my saturated inks because not just for ink blending, this is absolutely beautiful when it comes to even stamping sentiments like these. I stamped this sentiment twice to give a more filled, solid look. Well, yes, I did say that we will be creating a white on white card, but I definitely love some color on my card project. I decided to use my Ohuhu alcohol marker in the yellow shade and lightly dabbed on the center of each of those flowers. Note that I'm not coloring here as I would usually do. Instead, I'm following the little tiny dots on the flower centers and just dabbing them using the tip of my alcohol markers. Now, if you wanted to create something a lot more colorful, then definitely go ahead and use your alcohol markers in bright blues and pinks and many other colors to create beautiful floral arrangement. This embossing folder pattern is also absolutely perfect if you use the blackout technique, which is a very popular technique using these 3D embossing folders. But here I will leave the centers just yellow and rest of the flowers white, and we will be placing it onto a white top folding A2 size card base. It's now time to assemble the card. I will use some foam tape to mount my embossed panel onto a top folding A2 size card base. I feel that the foam tape provides a lot more pop to all of those embossed patterns on our panel. Now, if you're someone who does not like dimension, you could use some liquid glue or double-sided tape to adhere this panel onto your card base. Next, for some shine and sparkle, on this very clean and simple card, I used Prism Positively Dazzling gems and adhered them onto the card front using my Barely Art liquid glue. I like to use the funnel tray by Cat Scrappiness to hold all of these little gems and sequin mixes. This tray has a little spout on top, which makes it easy to pull all of these gems back into the container. And here's a look at the finished card. I love how beautiful this card turned out, and well, you could definitely recreate this design using any other embossing folder. And like I mentioned before, you could use this to create sympathy cards, thinking of you cards, thank you cards. And well, someone who likes it clean and simple, this could definitely also be a birthday card. I hope you had fun watching today's video and got inspired. All the supplies that I used in today's video will be linked down in the description box below. Note that all of these links are affiliate links, which means that if you shop using one of my links, I get a small commission at no cost to you guys. Well, thank you again for joining me today. Until next time, stay safe.